the body but a vessel for the soul? And what is the soul but a mirror to reflect the world around us? When I was in my mother's womb, she attempted to end her life. She jumped off of a bridge and broke various bones in her body. From that moment forward, her life and mine were nothing short of a miracle. My mother made a full recovery, but when I was born, she did not have the capacity to care for me. Her mental health and the lack of systematic support to care for her rendered her unable to raise a child. Sorry, first time sharing this story on a stage. At 6 weeks old, I was adopted by cousins, and I was brought into a household that already had 4 children. So needless to say, there was a lot of energy and a lot of stimulation. One of my favorite things about my childhood was that I was very much encouraged to be creative. I remember being so proud of being adopted, and when I was in 2nd grade, I remember the class bully walking up to me and saying, "I feel so sorry for you that you're adopted." And I remember looking him square in the face and saying, "Actually, I feel sorry for you because my parents chose me and yours are stuck with you." I just remember being young and feeling empowered by the fact that I had been chosen and that I had a family and eventually a community. And I remember from that point in my life, I wanted to make sure that I always included people despite of this society that often is quite exclusive. When I was 17, I knew that I wanted to be a photographer. But I was raised in a very strict Christian home, so I didn't know anything about television, films, magazines, or pop culture. I remember just having, sorry, the things are not changing. I remember, there we go. I remember just having this desire to create and to express. And I'm so sorry, the emotions are hitting me. I remember at 17, I moved out, I got my own apartment, and I got a job at a pizza place, a gym, and a church simultaneously, all hoping that I would have the time to learn how to use a camera. It was during that time that I would wake up at 4 a.m., go let people into the gym, go to my other jobs, hustle, and hope that I would have time to go out with my friends and use my camera. At the age of 19, I was just learning what Vogue magazine was. So if that gives you any insight into how sheltered my childhood was, yeah, I didn't really know what was going on in the world. I was in my own little universe. In my early 20s, I was struggling to identify and to understand my sexuality. And at the age of 22, I came out to my friends and family as gay and eventually learned what it meant to be queer. I remember my world going from black and white to color. And I just remember thinking, I want to take a leap of faith. I didn't have any resources, I didn't have any industry connections, but I decided to go full-time into photography. It was around that time that I started to find my community, and I started to write to photo companies and seek sponsorship to travel the world and teach workshops about photography. I remember the first time we got a check. It was $30,000 to go travel wherever we wanted and teach other people what we knew about cameras, about building a concept. And I started traveling and ended up going to 6 continents and over 35 countries worldwide teaching photography. That was a huge feat. As many of you can probably relate to, after 6 years of being devoted to the same thing, I started to feel like I needed to go inward. I felt like I needed to find a new approach and try something new. And so I set aside the one thing that was funding my life, and I decided to jump off a cliff once more and tried to see if fine art photography could help me succeed in both the fine art and commercial worlds. It was right around that time that I started my series Bodies of Light, and about the same time was the first time that Trump was elected into office. I remember feeling the pain of my country and the pain of my communities, but also witnessing the resilience. I remember attending a protest and seeing 200,000 people in the streets of Portland, Oregon, which at the time had a population of about 600,000, which meant that over 30% of the people were out in the streets fighting for change. I was so inspired. The slideshow is not working at all, but I created an image where I imagined the black woman and man at the top of a pyramid being supported by the rest of society. I imagined turning upside down these systems of oppression that had ruled over my country and the world for so long. And it was in that moment that I realized if you want to move forward, you have to be able to imagine the bridge. After creating that image, I continued the series, and I created an image called the Tree of Life. That image went viral. I wish you could see it right now. The Tree of Life was this culmination of bodies in a desert, literally creating a human tree. And it became this source, almost like an oasis, that kind of started spiraling into this whole series of images, talking about climate, talking about queer identity, talking about the things that connect us as humans, as bodies, more than just a body, more than just a singular soul, a community, a collective that has the power to create change. I was so shocked. I got featured on every major publication you can imagine, and I just kept thinking, I'm just this little kid from Michigan, like, how am I arriving to this moment with things that I have created? And I think I achieved something that every artist dreams of. In that moment, I was starting to be approached for my world, for my vision. I wasn't being put into the boxes of these other entities, of these brands, of these corporations. And I was able to actually create from my heart and be celebrated for that. And it was so amazing. There was a common thread through all of these moments in my journey. I remember always tapping into my intuition and understanding that I had an inner well. And we all have an inner well. We all have an inner well of ancient wisdom, of intuition, of knowledge that we have to share with the people around us. As we spend this week surrounded by incredible people who are doing incredible things, I want to ask you these questions. What is your inner well asking of you right now? What has your journey brought up inside of you to bring you to this moment? And what role do you have to play right now? In every revolution, there are many roles to play. There are the teachers, there are the healers, there are the people speaking on stage, which happens to be me in this exact moment. Such a dream come true. But those roles can change over time. And sometimes maybe we're speaking on stage, but then we need to pass the baton and be the healer to a friend who needs us. Sometimes we are the keeper of the sacred knowledge, but it's time to teach and to share that knowledge with someone else. So I ask again, what is your role in this moment? And what is your inner well telling you? Just a few years ago, I found out that before my mother was diagnosed with strong cases of bipolar and schizophrenia, she was studying to become a photographer. And I feel like now, in everything that I create, I am living the legacy that she didn't have the chance to live, and in everything that I create, her spirit lives through me. Thank you, Decididas, for having me here this week. Thank you to each and every person sitting here for being here and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. I look forward to learning from each of you.